Okay, Lionberry sent, uh, yeah, so joining session now just to make sure I have to select the right deck, my right sideboard. So I'll finally get this game 2 underway. As I was saying, or on failed abandoned recording because it was taking so long, but I went game 1 up. Towards the end of that match, I mean, I had a clear win, but we had issues with the kind of app freezing and that, but I took a screenshot, so we've agreed that that was game to me, so this is the second of the 3 game match. Lionberry's playing a Thopter deck, so I put in some, I need to draw a new hand, not enough land. That's not great either, so this could be, I've got Gideon, so I need to just try and hope that I start getting some land. At least I've got the double white. I've got no... What was key me in game 1 was getting enough early creatures coming out. It just hasn't worked out this turn, so gives them a better chance that it all comes down to the land. Here's the first of my sideboard cards. It's Royal's Retribution, as you can see, so just gives me options for knocking out multiple creatures, which is handy in a Thopter deck, so that might prove handy, and that's useful now. So I've got, so this could go quite well for me with the, if I have a second blue, I'm going to have both Gideon and the Whirler Rogue. So here's the Thopter Engineer, so he's got some early. As I said, I can rely on the Royal's Retribution to start knocking. I could take care of both of those currently, so that's fine. So he gets a better first start, but despite having to mulligan, I'm just relying on... Okay, so we'll do this. Do I leave that, or do I... Yeah, I'll get tempo on him. I'll return. Might seem like a bit of a daft move because obviously he gets another Thopter when that 1/3 comes out, but it's just to give me a chance to draw once I get my 4th land. And as I said, I will use a Solemn Offering to just boost my life so that I don't have to worry about that for these early matches where obviously he's going to be doing damage. And when I get 5 lands, I can obviously use the Royal's Retribution to kind of knock out all his dudes. And then I think when I have Gideon and the Whirler Rogue out, I've got a hard counter as well. Still not getting this, so I'll just have to be patient. Didn't necessarily want to use that on, but for now I just need to give myself enough time to draw this extra land for now. Say with 1 extra land, ideal if it's a blue obviously with the Whirler Rogue, but with 1 Gideon can get that. So yeah, this is well, he has to return, so at least the Thopter has to go. So he's left with a 4/3. The good thing about it doesn't go back to his hand, it just disappears into the ether, so obviously the engineer is giving him the haste ability. Yeah, no bloody land, what a surprise. Okay, so let's get both these guys out for now. At least got some presence in the board when it passes back to him. Yeah, this is going to be an unfortunate match for me. As I said, if I get my 1 extra land, then things will be cooking. But so he's obviously going to just return. So he's certainly getting. Oh no, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess he returned the Espresso, so when he brings it out, he's still live with the Thopter Spy Network. So you've seen then that I had no choice really to try and make room for the other land, but obviously I think this is going to be his game unless I get my fourth land on this next turn. It'll be useful because obviously I can have two Gideons on the go, but I do need that extra land, and it's not happening, so it's just crap. But there you go. At least I stopped the Esperzoa coming out, which is good. He's going to start making dudes again. The Royal could take care of that, but that's obviously two lands away. So, and interesting, I made mention on the recording of the first game. I've actually added an extra land in here as well. Would you believe it's actually this is running 25 land this deck. So let me stop that. That's got to be cancelled because otherwise that would be game there and then. So at least having a cancel was useful at this point. He's still doing the damage though, but if I get Gideon out, and here's Servitor, which has got haste, so he's swinging for however much. And he's only putting the two out. Well, I guess he doesn't want the throwback for the 2-1. I can obviously tie it. I don't have enough creatures yet, obviously, which is a shame, but let's see if I get my fourth land. No, bloody hopeless. There you go. I really am being screwed here in land, but then I suppose he's realising that at least I've got a third creature, so I can transform Gideon. There's no point in attacking, much as it might make sense to do because I need the three guys up if I don't get the third land. I'm going to, again, it's really difficult when I play this deck. I nearly always sideboard and it goes pear-shaped. This would have been a decent sideboard match, but if I don't get the mana, then what are you going to do? So yeah, and here's Chief of the Foundry. So I think this is pretty much over. This what I'll do is I'll wait for interest to see exactly how much. In fact, it's already over, isn't it? 2, 4, 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. I'm on 1. But I'm just interested to see if I was going to get another land. So how many turns is that I went without? Yeah, let's see if I get a land here, but I guess not. Oh yeah, finally, do I get a land, but it's a bit late. Yeah, it's too late to the party, unfortunately. What I'll do is I'll at least convert Gideon, so let's swing with everything just for the hell. But yeah, it was land that screwed me up there. If I'd had my fourth land drop on time, it would have been a different ball game. Just try and play the deck as fully as I can as it goes now. I mean, he'd probably like to do nothing really because he knows he's got me, but hopefully he does get to complete the match. It doesn't lock up because again, it's a bit like the game one. I would give that to him really. I get a transformation on when he's going to die anyway, which is the thing because of the boosted Thopters, but oh no, he's going for it, so let's just prove the point. Oh, why? What's wrong there? Why won't it let me do that? No, it's going to give me the chance to block. Yeah, I don't know what's happening in this game. That's obviously I was trying to activate his indestructibility, but as you can see it's not working, so that's game. Let's do this again just to show the art of the possible. To make the point as well, if I'd have had this on time, there's no point in putting the two. I mean, the game's over anyway, but this as well just to make him to use this +1. Let's see if he's going to be gentlemanly and send a couple of guys in, or he's going to be overkill and send everybody in. Should be interesting to see. If it was me, I would just skip to the attack phase and get it over with. Yeah, he's sending a couple in. Oh, nice. Okay, he's taken out just to prove that he can. Okay, so that's game 2. So it's 1-1, which is fine. That probably could have been in my favour. I wouldn't have used the solemn offering quite as early. It was really just for the point of view of trying to find some extra time to get the extra land, but that didn't happen. So with having the solemn offering, I could have dealt with the extra Thopter spy network when it came out, because the combination of the Thopter spy network, the fact that he had the engineer out, so again with land, if I'd had my 4th land, I think I'd have been up, and then of course if I'd have had a 5th after that, I could have used the Royals Retribution. So I think from a sideboard point of view, this is a better deck for sure. You know, you just can't legislate against the what happens with the land. So again, in this particular matchup, there's no question about the fact, and if you think I'm running an extra land anyway, so it really does show you it's some of what people have the complaints about the game, that when they get mana screwed. So that was really a game about mana screw on my part, to be honest. The first game was better because we both had plenty of mana, and in fact, even though I had the cancels, the issue on his side was he had more than enough mana to deal with the spell shrivels. So from my point of view, the reason, again going back to the way this deck runs best, is because in the first match I was the one that had the early creatures and got enough damage in the board, and then could contain some of his threats. His only threat was the Esperzoa, and that obviously gets difficult if I can remove his you know, the other artifacts. He has to keep returning it. So, but we will wait for this 3rd matchup. So I can see why his deck, he hasn't necessarily had a great run, but he has he's playing a Thopter deck. So I think Thopter deck is very strong, and you know, it's obviously strong in the Xbox One tournament. I think there are a few running in the Steam. So let's just select. That was me checking out Legends. There we are. Okay, I'm going to stick. This has always kind of worked against me. I think I had a sideboard against DJ, which seemed to work fairly well, but most of the matches where I've sideboarded, I've gone back to my original deck, and you know, sometimes that's worked, sometimes it hasn't. But I think in this matchup, there's no question about the fact of running this sideboarded version, but it's going to come down. It retains enough of the cards that I would rely on for like early pressure, so we'll have to see what the mulligan looks like. That's crap. So here we go again, draw a new hand. 1 land. I need to keep that. It's not perfect, but it's got mana I can work with. You can see I run two Thopter lands, which I think is useful given that I kind of run Thopters, but the advantage with this is, particularly with that prairie, when I get the River Marshal out, he comes out as a 3/2 because of that land. So these prairie streams are really excellent in this deck because they're an enabler for it. I mean, obviously the guild gates do the same thing, but it's the advantage that the guild gates don't act as a, here's the second river marshal, so this is looking like a much better start for me, fortunately, but we'll see. Still early days. You learn obviously to never count your chickens in this game, but I can keep bringing a creature out each turn, which is exactly what the deck wants to do. The advantage of having the two, and then if I get an extra land, I also have the tap ability for the marshals, so this looks to be, he's going well enough with his land, but he's got a vile aggregate. It's decent from a defense point of view, so he'll be able to stop damage from one of these going through, but obviously it's not going to work for everything, but I'll just keep swinging. I'm swinging with guys that are doing 2 damage, so obviously it's going to start mounting up. Get him on 3 land, which again, this deck's running 25 land, so again, like my the second game, mana was not very kind. We're on 3, I mean, at least the mana's match for them, and it's 3 each. If I get 4th out, that might bring the counter on, which could prove useful. So he's up to 4 mana himself, so no problems on his side with mana. I think he needs another defensive creature out if he's got one. I think Esperzoa tends to be quite cheap in that, so it would be very handy for him to get Esperzoa now, but I can't really count my chickens quite as yet, but I'm going to be going through with at least 5 damage next turn, unless he's bringing something out for blocking. So that puts him on 9. I then need to rely on some land drops to get both the counter up and the Guardian of Tazim, which may well end up doing it for this match. So he's having a long think here about, okay, he does have the Thopter Engineer, so he adds the Thopter and he also adds the Dude, which would be useful. He's swinging, I guess. Not sure if I would have done that. Might have held the 1/1 back, but maybe he feels that he wants to get damage in when he can. Still no land, so ridiculous. So he's doing, problem now because of that 2/5 is no, I just need to apply. He's going to kill the marshal, which is unfortunate, but I've got to apply pressure where I can. So let's get 3 damage through, and just please give me a land. Tide's turning. Pia and Kieran. Haste from the... So I need this extra land. The extra land does come out. It's one of the... people can argue on decks that, you mulligan or you put cards in your deck, and I mean this actually deck runs, and to be honest, in this build, one of the things I did which may have been a bit of a disadvantage in some ways, right, so bringing on the tapping ability is useful, because it is so useful. I still got the 1/3, so the 1/3 can kill. I think I just have to go for it. I still obviously, well, I don't think I haven't got the mana out for Gideon, but he's deciding to take the 5. No, he's not. So yeah, he's giving up P and Kieran. He's taking 2. So I'm down to 1 creature. He's got a pretty beefy 4/5 going on there because of the. It's a clever card actually in this deck, because obviously when he brings, and then of course here's Chief of the Foundry, which is ramping everything up. So it looks to be going his way. Again, mana was the issue in this game as well. For a deck that runs 25 land. 2, 4, 6, 10, yeah. Well, at least I got one game out of this. Say I wouldn't have. Still the right decision to use this sideboard, but in this particular instance, you know, it's only a one-off in the sideboard, which obviously is probably not ideal. I mean, one of the things I want to do when the tournament's over is have a good discussion around the art of sideboarding, and you know, kind of have people's comments in terms of what we had and what was going to be available. That land, I got my extra land, but it hasn't really done me any good. So yeah, I'm going to concede this. So like I saw with Lazarus' game, I think the Thopter decks, I went 2-1 against Lazarus. I went 2-1 here because I think the Thopter decks, once it gets past the initial opening with the pressure that I have, and again the lack of mana here didn't really help. So again, the art of sideboarding. I think the sideboarding, and where you know people can comment, I think the sideboarding itself was correct, but the lack of mana in both game 2 and game 3 has ended in this result. So good matches, Lionberry. He puts another win in. Thopters march on. I took 1 from this, which I'm hopefully, you know, I wanted at least 1 win from this. But hopefully it's enough to get me to top 4. I think it's still open. It'll depend on the other matches, but at least some of the matchups that have to go, they're pretty tough matchups either way. Particularly anybody that's still to face Covert Go Blue. So if Covert takes wins away, which quite often he does from other players, that will hopefully keep me secured in the top 7. But that was my final round 7 match, so it's just a case now of waiting for the other matches to finish and get the final points count, and hopefully I've done enough to come out in the top 4 and look forward to the semi-final matchups. It's not clear yet actually that we have Thopters in the Lionberry is making a run. He's got some extra matches in hand. If he keeps winning, he could be challenging for my top 4, so we'll see what happens. But hope you enjoyed watching. Sorry for the difficulties we had with the matches not working, so this is going to be split between the game 1 match, which of course I'll be happy to put that one up with my win, which was quite convincing. The deck was working properly, the mana was working properly, but the games 2 and 3, despite the sideboard change, which I thought was probably valid for the matchup, I got bad mana in both games 2 and game 3. Okay, Squidder Dragon signing out. Bye.